Hey folks, we're going to explore and develop martial powers for the martial classes in 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons as our Tuesday lunch design stream. I need to check my signal, get through my intro spiel, get my clock kicking, and then we're going to build out the Barbarian Zealot from 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons today. Give me a hot second here to check signal. We'll get through my spiel and then we'll get to work. So. Checking intro. Hold on, checking my signal. Yeah. Hold on, checking. Yeah, okay, sounds pretty good. And let me do my intro spiel here real quick, and then we'll get to work. So, hey, my name is Phil Kearney. Hey, I create role-playing game supplements. I publish them online. I've been focusing my attention on Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition for the past few years. There's a slew of links in the description down below that offer previews to a lot of work that I've already finished. That's on DMsGuild. You can click into the previews if you're a D&D enthusiast. You can read through a large portion of each one of those books in the preview. And if you're just here as an art enthusiast or a fan of the artwork that I do, then there's probably about 150 illustrations across those various books for you to take a look at. So be welcome to enjoy that. If you want to support me on Patreon, there's a link down below as well. Follow me on Twitter to help spread signal. I always publish when I'm live on Twitter. I just posted that I'm live on Twitter, so you can follow me at Phil Kearney there. Patreon's Phil Kearney as well. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon here on the YouTube to help boost the signal. And what we're looking at here on my book cover here is the color mana spell point variant rules. Tap and tap burn spell point variant rules. Core mechanics covers all of the classes, all 13 classes in 5th edition, but the Martial Powers book that we're working on right now is a deep dive into alternate casting mechanics and spell options for Barbarian, Fighter, Monk, Ranger, Rogue, Paladin, as well as a little bit of stuff for Artificer and the Warlock. So true to form, we're going to be diving in here, so let's pull out a sheet. We're going to work on the Zealot today as part of the project for the Barbarian. We've gone over in past episodes. If you want to check up on the playlists, we're at episode 71 right now, so we'll dive in deeper with that. But we've gone over the different options about like how you can rage. You still can't cast spells, but martial powers aren't spells, they're magic, but then so is the wild magic, path of wild magic with the barbarians. So obviously barbarians can wield magic, they just can't concentrate and they can't cast spells, which powers are neither of. A barbarian, there is maintaining concentration on spells, or on power effects, sustained effects with this martial power system, but we have this concept called locking, which is you don't have to maintain concentration for something if you lower your effective casting level by whatever level of power it is that you're using. If you're a 13th level barbarian capable of channeling up to 4th rank powers, but you lock 3 ranks worth of sustained power so you don't have to concentrate on them anymore, you're effectively reducing yourself to a 1st rank barbarian. So you can sustain effects without maintaining concentration in the system. And while Barbarian is raging, which is incapable of being able to maintain concentration, if you're raging and you try to trigger a sustained effect, it automatically locks when you activate it because that's the only way the power works. So if you can't channel anything right now because you've already locked down all of your channels, then that power would just automatically fail. But anyway, so we've gone into that about like empowered rest, which is when you spend hit dice, you gain mana back. Primal stamina, when you gain all your hit dice back on a long rest instead of just half of them. I believe that's something that they're going to be going into permanently in 6th edition when they finish their playtesting. And then Brutal Fury at 6th level, empowered wounds as a reaction to taking damage on a critical hit while raging. you can recover a number of spent fury equal to the max rank of power gained as a barbarian. So it's rare that you can get hit and take damage and as a result gain more mana, but it is as a critical hit. So critical hits are very difficult to predict and control, so there's no bag of rats there. You could very well kill yourself waiting for a crit to show up to get a point of mana back. Just take a rest and use some hit dice, dude. And then the last class feature that we're introducing as an option for barbarians in general is Brutal Fury, which is instead of the Brutal Critical, which gives you an extra die of damage when you crit, you can instead gain temporary points of mana that you would then spend on strike powers, which are also dice of damage, but it also has kicker effects, much like Paladin Smites, like Banishing Smite, for instance, deals 5d10 radiant damage and banishes the creature that gets hit. Banishing Strike in the system does similarly. It's 4 dice. By the time you can get it, it'd be a d8, so it'd be like 4d8 damage, and then the target has to make a charisma saving throw or remains banished until it can succeed the saving throw. Same sort of thing. The Brutal Fury at 17th level, you get 3 points of fury. So if that Banishing Strike costs 4 fury and you score a critical, you get 3 points for free at 17th level. Then all you'd have to do is chip in 1 extra point out of your own pool, and then bam, you banish your target. I'm gonna correct my seat here. So that's the quick crash course and all the cool stuff that the Barbarian gets. The general scaffolding that we've walked through multiple times in the game and the playtesting content here. It's in my Patreon channel down below. It doesn't cost you anything, but it's also read-only. So you have to keep visiting the site to be able to reference this stuff or screenshot things, which I can't stop you from doing. But a martial class such as the Barbarian, you gain 1 point of mana per level, up to 20 at 20th level. Obviously, you can't do a lot with 1 point of mana. You can spend your resting hit die. When you spend that to heal yourself, you can also gain a point of mana back. But at first level, that's not very significant. And then, of course, you gain your subclass archetype, your path, at third level, where you would still only have 3. And if you've attended these sessions with me in the past, you know that at the very low levels, we're mostly spending powers on feats and sustained effects that once you lock them, you don't have to spend any more mana on them until you take a long rest, or they get dispelled, which at very low levels is highly unlikely. So you're pretty much locking features in at low level, at your lower levels. And then once your mana pool gets large enough to be able to have spend across multiple encounters, then we start leaning into it, exploits, maneuvers, reactions, and strike powers. So we're going to click on down here through all the variant classes and subclasses we've already designed into the actual martial power system here, kick past the rules that we've developed for them, and now we're into the list of powers, 140 different unique powers, along with a stack of feats and damage types that you can purchase as the powers that you learn. You start with 2 known powers, and you'll eventually end up with 16 of them that you handpick for yourself. You can swap out all powers every time you gain a level. I like the attitude of being able to swap out a prepared power every time you take a long rest. I will be messing with that paradigm when we start playtesting this as a team in, I suspect, October. But for now, let's see. So we have our power list here. We have our scaffold here. We have the Zealot here. And we have our Zealot scaffold ready for insertion here. So the way that we do this is we look at the class features of the Zealot, and then we extract them. We look to see if they can, if what we've introduced in the martial power system in general, if all the stuff here still works as its rules as written, or if we have the opportunity to improve or smooth how any of these features work to coincide with the curve and scaffolding of the martial powers mana ranking system that we have already implemented. So if everything clicks together, then no changes. And then like the Totem Warrior or all the other classes, you have your power list, which is actually a bonus power list. So you get to pick 16 powers over the course of your character's career, but you get 10 for free. At 3rd, 5th, 9th, 7th, 13th, and 17th, you get 2 each. the same as like a ranger would get 2 spells that are permanently prepared when he gains levels at 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 13th, and 17th. The same. I'll take a sip of water. All right, so that's the spiel. So now let's get into the actual listings for what the Zealot provides, and we'll see if we need to translate anything. So let's just go through the flavor text real quick. Some deities inspire their followers to pitch themselves into a ferocious battle fury. These barbarians are zealots, warriors who channel their rage into powerful displays of divine power. A variety of gods across the worlds of D&D inspire their followers to embrace this path. Tempest from the Forgotten Realms, and Hextra and Erthel of Greyhawk are all prime examples. In general, the gods who inspire zealots are deities of combat, destruction, and violence. Not all are evil, but few are good. So, what are the features we get? First off, Divine Fury. Starting when you choose this path at 3rd level, you can channel Divine Fury into your weapon strikes. While you're raging, the first creature you hit on each of your turns with a weapon attack takes extra damage equal to D6 plus half your Barbarian level. The extra damage is necrotic or radiant. You choose the type of damage when you gain this feature. Hey, Tyler, it's good to see you, my guy. But few are. So we can revise that. Let's see, equals D6 plus half your Barbarian level. It should say rounded down, because that's generally how it rolls. Let's see. D6. I guess if it doesn't list it, it's just by default things round down. Let's see. So it's D6 at 3rd level. So if we look at our scaffold, there we go. The power die we get at 1st through 8th level is a D6. Then it upgrades to a D8, and then it upgrades to a D10. So if we go with a D6 plus half our level, it's gonna cap at 16. But if we switch it to a power die that can cap at a 6, that means I need to make up 6 points. So the easiest solution is for us to modify the language on this Divine Fury to instead be equal to 1 power die, 1 power die plus your proficiency bonus. The extra damage is necrotic or radiant. You choose the type of damage when you gain this feature. There you go. That's easy enough. I know that proficiency bonus is a blanket multi-class bonus as opposed to specific levels in the Barbarian. That is an argument that you can make. But I'm fine with it, as we are doing extensive blending of multi-classing using this system. So I actually think that's kind of fun, that it would actually float over like that. So Divine Fury. Third. The next class feature, Warrior of the Gods. At 3rd level, your soul is marked for endless battle. If a spell, such as Raise Dead, has the sole effect of restoring you to life, but not undeath, the caster doesn't need material components to cast a spell on you. Oh, that's cool. Warrior of the Gods, no change. Warrior of the Gods, 3rd. No changes. Fanatical Focus. Starting at 6th level, the divine power that fuels your rage can protect you. If you fail a saving throw while you're raging, you can re-roll it. And you must use the new roll. You can use this ability only once per rage. The divine power that fuels your rage can protect you. If you fail a saving throw, you can only use this ability once per rage. Okay, so you gain unlimited rage at higher levels, though that could change in 6th edition. But for now, you do gain unlimited rages. However, although the rages are unlimited, you have to still spend a bonus action to trigger a new rage. So regaining the ability to make that saving throw is basically you have to spend a bonus action and you regain this feature because you re-trigger your rage. So no need to change that. Fanatical rage, fanatical focus, A-OK. How you doing, Tyler? I can't even imagine. Zealot's Presence. At 10th level, you learn to channel divine power to inspire zealotry in others. As a bonus action, you unleash a battle cry infused with divine energy. Up to 10 other creatures of your choice within 60 feet of you that can hear you gain advantage on attack rolls and saving throws until the start of your next turn. That is a bonus action to activate. So that's cool. Zealot's Presence. I don't have any reason to change that either. It works perfectly as it is. Zealot's Presence. Once you use it, you can't use it again until you finish the long rest. That's fine. Let's see. Beginning at 14th level, the divine power that fuels your rage allows you to shrug off fatal blows while you are raging. Having 0 hit points doesn't knock you unconscious. You still must make your death saving throws, and you suffer the normal effects of taking damage while at 0 hit points. However, if you would die due to failing death saving throws, you don't die until your rage ends. And you die then only if you still have 0 hit points. That's nice. Rage Beyond Death. Beyond Death. 13th. No changes. So the only feature we had to change at all was Divine Fury. Arguably, we did not need to change it. I am still, what are we looking at here? March power to, man. Like if you are a Zealot Barbarian having a domain ability fixed through the power system. A domain ability. Man, that is a little too vague for me to answer properly. No. Is there a way to use martial power to replicate this? Replicate what? Like each of the individual class features? I think, let's see. There isn't a specific power that infuses everyone around you with bonuses to saves and advantage on saves and saving throws, but you can on individuals. Like rallying strike and stuff like that, which are more battle master maneuvers than AoE effects. If you fail a saving throw while you're raging, you can re-roll it. We have re-roll mechanics that exist already as power options in the exploits, which would make sense to introduce as fanatical focus once that activates. And the unkillable effect is, I do believe we have a, it's either a sustained effect or an exploit that leans into that as well. So we have similar powers that may or may not warrant being on the bonus list. So let's we'll pick through what we have here. We have a decent frame, a lot of stay alive sort of stuff. Excuse me for a second. A piece of grit caught in my teeth. All right, let's see. Nothing too outrageous here. Let's go to, let's check out some powers. Let's see what we see that we'd like to see. Click here to go down our power list. Okay, so as is tradition, at low levels we have very little mana, so we want to lean into feats and sustained powers that we feel are going to represent the Zealot that are affordable at 3rd level for this guy to take. So that means we're going to skip past the exploits, maneuvers, reactions, and strikes, get into sustained and feats. So let's see. Feats are always good. So, and I do believe there's like a real durable. What do you think? Mind, open, efficient power. Okay, hey there, 20-minute marker. Not bad. Let's see. Cannibalized power, defensive, dual, dungeon delver, efficient power, fighting, great master, keen, weapon, revenant, savvy attacker, sentinel, sharp, skilled, slasher, tavern brawler. Yeah, none of those are jumping out at me specifically as Zealot's type of stuff to take. So I'm going to see about skipping past. It's a duelist. No. All right, let's see about skipping past all that stuff. Let's go directly into our sustained powers and see if there's something cool at low levels that we can take that are going to make sense. Let's see. While sustaining this power, weapon attacks are magic, and you can add your proficiency bonus to weapon damage rolls. That's not off-brand for a barbarian in general, but it doesn't speak specifically to the Zealot power fantasy. Rogue Stancer's assessment, transfer. Woof. Yeah, there's not a lot going on here. Thin pickings, yo. Let's go with yeah, we'll take Dire Impact. Sus 1. That'll give us a damage boost, which is always useful. Let's see. Yeah, I want to just necessarily blow. I mean, elemental resistance is an improvement. Because you only have, when you rage, you have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing physical attacks that aren't magical. And when you take elemental resistance, when you channel this power, choose one type of damage: acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder. You gain resistance to the chosen type of damage and gain advantage on saving throws to reduce the damage taken of the chosen damage type. You can channel this power more than once simultaneously, choosing a different power of damage with each channeling. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 types of damage. If I was 17th level, I could load up all 5 ranks of sustained power and lock all my channels and have that resistance and gain advantage on saving throws against all 5 of these types of energy. That's not horrible. It's not. It doesn't scream Zealot, you know. But at such a low level, there's not a lot of options available. No. Just doing a second check here real quick to see if there's anything specifically Zealot focused. Nope. Alright, well, it seems like resistance would be the optimal choice then. It's not a horrible choice, it just doesn't scream Zealot, you know? Elemental resistance, we'll take it. 5th level. That's when we gain access to 2nd rank powers. We're still using a D6. 5th level, we have 6 powers of our own and 5 mana at the tout. Let's look at 2nd rank. Sustained powers first. We already know that feats are a wash, so let's see. Deadly Presence, Mind Sense, Opportunist, Quick, Strange Metabolism, Sturdy, Unnatural Resistance, Weapon Resistance. We already have weapon resistance from the base Rage package, resistance to non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. But unnatural resistance is something that we could certainly pick up. Quick, Opportunist, Mind Sense, Deadly Presence, Cloud Strider, no. Attunement, Astute. Yeah, none of the... Okay, I would say Unnatural Resistance is probably the best go we have here. Unnatural... +2, comma... And let's go down into, we already know that feature no good, and that's the only sustained power at second rank that we want. So let's go down into, let's go with strikes to see if there's anything cool in here that we think can pick up on this in particular. Intimidating strike. Ooh, life-stealing strike. That might be a decent pick. Your weapon damage increases by 1 power die per mana burned, and at 5th level it's going to be a D6. It'll upgrade to a D8 at 9th level and then to a D10 at 17th level. Your weapon damage increases by 1 power die per mana burn, and it costs 2 mana to use it, so it's expensive. But so it'll be 2d6. In addition, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to the result of the power dice rolled. Any temporary hit points that remain when you start a short or long rest are lost. So this is every time you hit with it, you're not only dealing additional smite damage to somebody, but however much damage you're dealing is how many temporary hit points that you get. This will come in really handy once we have our empowered, the word I'm looking for is Brutal Fury, thank you. And that clicks in at 10th level. So it'll be a while before we get it, but Lifesteal's a good one. So let's go back to that. Warrior, Zealot, thank you. Life-stealing strike. Cute. Life-stealing strike. STR2. 9th level, 3rd rank. Let's see if there's any sustained powers that we like, and then we'll push our way down the page. No. Flurry, daunting. Well, while sustaining its power, attack rolls against you are made with disadvantage. And when you are the only target of an effect that requires you to make a saving throw, you roll with advantage. No, none of these specifically cry out Zealot to me, so we're going to skip those. We already got everything we want out of the 1st and the 2nd level. We're now looking at strikes. Bursting strike, delusional strike, stun strike. None of those specifically feel like Zealot. Let's see. Deals radiant damage and adds 1 power die per mana burn. The creature glows with faint light, negating the benefits of invisibility or concealment. Axiom Strike actually feels like a wild, kind of like a wild magic feature, but not specifically the Zealot. So let's look at lower rank. Strikes, Goading Strike, Street, Freezing Strike, Feminine Strike, Hurting Strike, Disarming Strike, Grappling, Poisoning, Psionics, Shocking, Thundering, Tripping. None of those specifically jump out at me as strikes that are like, gotta has it. So instead, let's look at, let's see, Zealot stuff. Countering attack, not specifically the Zealot. None of those feels Zealot either. Stolen Fate. Now we're starting to see some like One's Own Luck as a reaction to rolling a 1 or more power dice. As a reaction to rolling 1 or more power dice, you can re-roll any number of dice and take the higher result. That's a very meta feature. Like if I'm going to, like if I had that life stealing strike, I rolled 2d6 at this level. At 9th level, I'd be rolling a d8. So if I rolled 2d8 and I rolled like a 3 and a 2, then if I spent an extra point, and this is a reaction. So if I spent an extra point, I'd then be able to re-roll that 2 and that 6, which is rarely useful. But honestly, it's a power I don't think anyone would ever willingly take, which is a great reason to give it to them. Because sometimes when you roll that crit and you only roll a 1 and a 2 and a 4 with your power dice, you're going to want to re-roll them. And if you have the extra mana laying around, that's actually a really good use of it. So we're going to go with one's own luck. One's own luck. Reaction 2. That's actually pretty worth. And I think it's on theme with the Zealot. Hey, Leon. Oh, right on. Cartography is fun. That is an art that just keeps on giving. You can never, your maps can never be too good. More than anything, I think people give up on maps than consider them finished. So, because there's always just like one little extra thing you could add. Let's see. What about Stolen Fate? As a reaction to when a creature you can see within 30 feet makes an ability check? Nah, that's more like a Trickster God sort of thing. Not specifically a Zealot. So I'm happy with that reaction. Let's see. Great Fortitude as a reaction to failing a Strength or Constitution saving throw. Re-roll the D20 and take the better results. It's not horrible. Iron Will as a reaction to failing a Charisma or Wisdom saving throw. Re-roll the D20 and take the better result. And then Lightning Reflex as a result of failing a Dexterity or Intelligence saving throw. Re-roll the D20 and take the better result. I have a thought. I'm going to go with Power Armor instead. Power Armor is a sustained effect. Barbarians only wear light armor, medium armor or less. So they have they can always use their Dexterity plus their Constitution modifier if they want. Optionally, we can give them Power Armor, which is your armor class is 11 plus Dexterity modifier plus your proficiency bonus. And it costs 1 mana to sustain that. That could very well be better than what you've got. You know what? Honestly, doesn't feel better. I'm just gonna go back with what we did. Elements of Resistance. I thought I had a thought, but I didn't like it. So I ended up changing my mind there. Let's go hunt for maneuvers and exploits. We're at 9th level. You'll notice that we aren't requiring ourselves to take a spell of the appropriate level that you gain. Like, there's over 700 spells in amongst the various WotC products. So it's pretty easy to find, like at 9th level, 2 3rd level spells that make sense for your character to permanently have on your list. But we only have 140 powers here, so we have to dip into lower levels occasionally, which I think is fine, personally. Let's see. Deflection, Trying, Fade, Great Time to Return. Let's go check out exploits. When you use a bonus action to channel maneuver, you can make a weapon attack as part of the bonus action. This attack may be made at the beginning, end, or during the empowered maneuver. Well, I don't have any maneuvers yet, but maneuvers you can channel a maneuver as a action or bonus action, and you can do it twice in the same round using your action and then your bonus action, or vice versa. But it has that flexibility, so you could focus your character on using specific maneuvers repeatedly over the course of an encounter, round to round. Just loading up on specific maneuvers if you wanted to, and this empowered synergy leans into exploiting that bonus action as a maneuver while still leaving the standard action open for you to use with a maneuver as well. That's let's look at some of the bonus action. Let's look at some of the maneuvers that are available and see if we then thus want to pick up Empowered Synergy later. It costs you 3 mana to use Empowered Synergy. So you're channeling a feature, which is going to cost you mana. And then you have to spend mana on top of it. So it's expensive. That's more of a paladin ranger sort of thing to do because they have a lot of mana in comparison to a barbarian. At least a lot of mana that they can burst things with. But let's see. Distract, flatten, goad, healing, radiance. You can heal one creature you touch with a number of hit points equal to the result of 1 power die per mana burned. And I don't know. Oh, Swift Resuscitation. You can stabilize a dying creature with your touch. Curse Brand, Lethargy. You curse a creature you can see to make saving throws against your powers with disadvantage. The effect ends if the creature succeeds a save against them. So far, we don't have anything that requires a target to make a saving throw. So Cursed Brand doesn't make a lot of sense for this build. Target creature you can see within 30 feet must make a charisma saving throw. No move or bonus action until succeed. Regeneration. When you channel this maneuver, you can spend a number of hit dice up to your proficiency modifier to regain a number of hit points equal to the maximum result of the dice spent. When you spend 2 or more dice this way, you can also end 1 disease of or one of the following conditions: blinded, deafened, poisoned. Starting at 13th level, when you spend 5 or more hit dice this way, you can also end. Now keep in mind, this is regeneration, so it costs 2. So when you channel this maneuver, you can spend a number of hit dice up to your proficiency modifier to regain a number of hit points equal to the maximum result of the dice spent. So this costs mana and it costs hit dice to be able to trigger it. At 13th level, you can get rid of a curse. You can get rid of an ability score reduction. 1 effect that reduces your hit point maximum. 1 degree of exhaustion. Okay. I think I'm down with regeneration. That's a maneuver 2. We have Terror, Flicker Pounce, Double Strike, Curse of Enfeeblement. None of those particularly say Zealot to me either. Pack Tactics, not so much. Theurgy, Curse Brand, nah. Swift Assessment, Rally, Restraining Hold. Jeez, we still got 4 to go. We might just be buying down some features here. Healing Radiance. You heal one creature? Nah. Flatten, Distract. When you channel this maneuver, you can spend a number of hit dice left to proficiency mods to regain a number of hit points equal to the maximum result of the dice spent. Let's see. Coordinated attack, branding. I don't think there's I don't see any other maneuvers stepping in that direction, so let's instead look at some exploits. See if there's any exploits that are jumping out. We are at 13th level now, so we're looking at 4th or lower level exploits. Unstoppable. When an effect or condition other than incapacitated or death reduces your movement to 0, you can ignore the movement penalty for 1 round during your turn, though you might not be able to take any other action. You can ignore the movement penalty for 1 round. That costs you 4 mana. That doesn't feel specifically. It could be Zealot. Actually, Zealot. Yeah, okay, let's go with it. But we're gonna push that up to the 5th tier. So unstoppable equals exploit 4. Kind of does feel Zealot-y. Empowered. Unnerving focus. When you make an ability check that can use the intimidation skill, or while rolling to determine if you maintain concentration, Roll 1 power die per mana channeled, adding the highest result. Roll to your result. The unnerving focus doesn't. Well, you can concentrate while not in rage. You'll normally be in rage while fighting because barbarian, duh. But unnerving focus has its uses. So that is exploit 1. Exploit 1. Resilience. When you make a saving throw, you can roll 1 power die per mana channel, adding the highest result to your... Ooh, that's a good one. So what was the Zealot list? The Zealot list was... Fanatical Focus. Starting at 6th level, the divine power that fuels your rage can protect you. If you fail a saving throw while you're raging, you can re-roll it. And you must use the new roll. You can use this feature. You can use this ability only once per rage. So Fanatical Focus actually synergizes well with Resilience. When you make a saving throw, you can roll 1 power die per mana channeled, and only requires 1. Adding the highest results to the... So if you burn 3 mana, you can throw 3 dice. At this level, it would be D8. So you can roll 3 8-sided die, and you add the highest result. Obviously, we've talked about this, depreciating returns. As you throw more dice, it becomes less and less likely that you're going to get a better roll than what one of the dice you're already throwing are giving to you. Typically, you're going to see yourself capping out, not needing more than 3 mana burn for any particular die roll, any particular power die roll, to be able to get a good result. So that's going to average at least above the 50% mark. But of course, you could always burn. Like if you really got to make it, you can throw 5 mana at something and throw 5 dice, and very likely to get a nice high number, though not guaranteed. So resilience, but then that's why you would take the one zone luck to re-roll the dice that you threw. So yeah, resilient. So we'll take resilient. That actually feels pretty good at this point. Unnerving focus, resilient. It's inexpensive as a first rank maneuver, or a first rank exploit, but it actually thematically makes a lot of sense coming in. Well, it should come in. Let's bring it at 9th level. Let's go resilience exploit 1, and let's swap regeneration with resilient. Because resilience would come in at 6th level. That's when you get the feature to re-roll a die if you get a shit result, and then you could stack resilience on top of it at 9th level. So that feels good. That means we're only really looking for one more thing. One more thing. One zone luck. Resilient. Unnatural resistance. Life stealing. Let's see. Is there anything else that grabs our attention here? Resilient, cooperative effort, phase, precise, right the wind, empowering strike, first strike, opportunistic, unstoppable. Let's go back up to reactions and see if there's anything tasty up in here at this point. If it's a footwork, feint, interpose, iron will, opt. As a reaction to rolling an ability check, but before determining the result, you can re-roll the d20 and take the higher result. Moving target, one's on luck. Anchor, counterattack, defensive barrier, hexproof. Ooh. Oh, there it is, right on revival. As a reaction to when you drop to 0 hit points but don't die outright, you remain conscious and roll a number of power dice equal to the mana burned, regaining that many hit points instead, up to your maximum hit point feature. He's gotten into map making. Let's see, what time is it? How long have I been doing this? We've got this for 45 minutes. Not bad. All right, well, hey, that's all of them. So that takes care of the Zealot. How we doing? Yeah. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it here. I got some editing I need to do. And we'll be back. We'll be back next week to do Wild Magic. So I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys then. Short and sweet this week. Thanks a lot for being here, guys. Cheers.